All right, welcome back. So last time, we put together the basic skeleton of an HTML page, right? We got the head and the body all set up. But let's be honest, that body tag is pretty empty right now. It's just a blank canvas. Today, we're going to start painting. We're diving into the textual tags. These are the real tools that let us turn a giant wall of text into a story that actually makes sense.
So this is what we're starting with. If you just dump text onto a page, you get, well, this, a sea of words. It's kind of like trying to read a book that has 0 chapters, no paragraphs, nothing. You can't skim it, you can't really make sense of it. And it's not just tough for us humans. Search engines look at this and see a meaningless blob. Right now, it's just raw material. Our job is to give it some shape.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? How do we take that mess and transform it into something that's structured, easy to understand, and, this is super important, accessible to everyone? Well, the answer is all about using the right tools. And in our case, those tools are the fundamental text tags in HTML.
Okay, here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start by going beyond plain text, then we'll talk about creating structure, we'll get into the really important difference between style and meaning, check out some special formatting tools, and wrap up by seeing how this all builds a better, more accessible web.
First up, let's move beyond plain text and start telling a story with our code.
All right, now for the tools that give our content some real structure and hierarchy.
The tag you're probably going to use more than any other is the P tag. It's just 4 paragraphs. Simple as that. It's what you use to group a bunch of related sentences together. And you'll notice that browsers automatically give you a little bit of breathing room, some space above and below each paragraph, which really helps to visually break up different thoughts. Okay, let's talk about the real backbone of your document's structure, the heading tags. You've got 6 levels, from H1 all the way down to H6. Think of H1 as the main title of your whole page. It's the big boss. From there, the numbers go up and the importance goes down. So H2 is a major section, H3 is a subsection of that, and so on. Now, getting your headings right is absolutely crucial. Seriously, it's not just about making things look big or small. You should really only have one H1 per page. And you never, ever want to skip levels. Like, don't jump from an H2 straight to an H4. Why? Because this creates a logical outline of your page. Screen readers, which are used by people with visual impairments, rely on this outline. They let users jump from heading to quickly understand what's on the page. If you skip a level, you break that outline, and it can be really confusing. And hey, speaking of how things are understood by machines, we can't forget the title tag. And this one's a little different. It doesn't go in the body. It lives up in the head section. The title is what shows up in your browser tab. But even more importantly, it's the big blue clickable link that Google shows in search results. A great title is literally the first impression you make, and it can be the difference between someone clicking your link or just scrolling right on by.
So what happens when you want to signal a major shift in topic, but you're still in the same section? That's what the HR tag is for. And I want to be really clear here. It's not just a horizontal line for decoration. It's a thematic break. It's like a scene change in a movie or a new chapter in a book. It's a semantic signal to the reader that says, okay, pause, we're shifting gears to a different thought now.
Okay, this next part is super important. We need to talk about the difference between just making something look a certain way and giving it true semantic meaning.
This really gets to the core of modern web development. You'll hear this a lot. HTML is for meaning and CSS is for styling. And when we say semantic meaning, all we're really saying is that the tag you choose should describe the purpose of the text. What is its role? Is it important? Is it a quote? That's what HTML is for, not just making things look pretty.
Okay, perfect example. The B tag versus the strong tag. Visually, they do the exact same thing. They both make text bold. But their meaning is totally different. The B tag is just for bringing attention to something, kind of like highlighting a keyword in a textbook. But strong, that tells the browser and anyone using a screen reader that this text has strong importance. A screen reader might actually change its tone of voice for a strong tag to convey that urgency.
And it's the exact same deal with I and M. Yep, they both usually make text look italicized. But again, the meaning is different. The I tag is for a shift in voice, maybe a technical term, a character's thought, or a word from another language. But M, which stands for emphasis, actually changes how a sentence is understood. Think about it. I love coffee means something different than I love coffee. That's what M does. It adds that verbal stress.
All right, let's open up the Specialized Toolkit and look at some tags for more specific situations.
First up is the line break tag, BR. Now this is a tool you have to be careful with. Its only job is to force a line break inside a block of text, like in a poem or an address, where the line breaks are actually part of the content itself. What you should never do is use a bunch of BR tags to create space between your paragraphs. That is 100% a job for CSS, not HTML.
Okay, for all the developers watching, this next one is a lifesaver. The pre-tag. It stands for pre-formatted. Anything you put inside a pre-tag is displayed exactly as you typed it. Every space, every tab, every new line is preserved. This makes it absolutely perfect for showing code snippets because, as we all know, with code, the indentation and spacing is everything.
And then we've got a couple of quick ones for scientific or math notation. Subscript for sub, and superscript for super. For things like chemical formulas like H2O or famous equations like E=mc². These tags get that job done perfectly.
All right, now for the one that makes the web, well, a web. The A small tag, which stands for anchor. This is it. This is the element that creates hyperlinks. It's the cornerstone of the entire internet, letting us connect one document to another, creating this massive interconnected network of information. So, how does a link work? It's actually pretty simple. You've got your opening and closing A tags that wrap around whatever you want to be clickable. Then you have this crucial attribute called href. That stands for hypertext reference, and that's where you put the destination URL. And that's it. The text or image you put in between the tags becomes your link.
But the anchor tag can do so much more. You can link to another part of the same page by using a hash symbol and an ID. You can make an email link with mail to. You can make the link open in a brand new tab using target equals blank. But, pro tip, whenever you do that, for security you should always add rel equals no opener, no referrer. It prevents some nasty security issues. And finally, you can even add a download attribute to make the browser download the file instead of trying to open it.
So let's bring this all home. How does using all these tags correctly help us build a better, more accessible web for everyone?
This quote really says it all. Remember what we said about headings? When a person using a screen reader lands on your page, they're not going to listen to the whole thing from top to bottom. They're going to navigate by jumping from heading to get a quick summary. By using our heading tags correctly, we're not just styling text. We are providing a map of our content for them. That is what accessibility is all about.
Now that we know how to structure our text, what's next? Well, in our next explainer, we're going to look at how we group all this content into logical containers. We'll be diving into super important tags like div and span, which let us organize and style these sections we've created.
So, I'll leave you with this one thought. As you move forward and write your own HTML, ask yourself, am I just making my content look right, or am I building something that can be truly understood by browsers, by search engines, and most importantly, by every single person who visits my site?
This is Developer Roadmaps. Map your path, build your career.